my grandfather was a huntsman. We had bird dogs, terriers, hunting dogs, you name it. It was always hounds around the farm. So basically, from the moment that I could walk or talk, I wanted to hunt hounds. I wanted to be a huntsman. So went through school and missed a few days school to go hunting. And one quick story. The hunt was hunting from our farm that one day, and it was on a Monday, and I wanted to go and hunt, and so I took the day off school and didn't think anything about it. I thought it would be fine. And as we were riding through the village, there was a TV crew filming, and on the 6 o'clock news at night was my face and my little pony trotting down the road. The teacher saw it, and I had a bit of trouble the next day. So I went through school, and then you can leave school at 16 in England, and I wanted to go straight into hunt service. That's what I wanted to do, but Mum persuaded me to go to college, and so I was like, well, if I'm going to go to college, I want to do something related. So I took a course on countryside management and forestry, which was really interesting. At the time, I was thinking, well, I'm just doing this, and I just want to get through it and go straight on. But looking back, it was really important for me to do that, because I learned a lot about habitat management and conservation, which you all know from hunting people that it's important. If you don't have the habitat or the right environment for your game, you're not going to have your hunting. So that was really key, and I'm glad I did that. So went through college, and then my local hunt, which I've been following on weekends, was looking for a guy to take care of the animals, to take care of the hounds. So I applied, and I got the job. That was my first job. I was 18 years old, and kind of took over from my grandfather. He had left the season before, and then I took over. So it's kind of stepping into some big shoes, and made a lot of mistakes, but really enjoyed it. That pack was a pack of beagles. We hunted mountain hares. The beagles were a little taller than what the beagles you have over here. They were probably 17 inches at the shoulder, because we had tall fences, and up in the mountains we had the stone walls, and very often the hare would come up and she'd jump right over, so we needed the beagles to have a bit more leg to get over. So and it was fun. We had always count hounds in our situation in couples, in twos. So 2 hounds is a couple. So we had 25 couple of beagles, which is 50 beagles, about a mix, half males, half females. And like I say, we hunted hares, and it was all on foot. So you had to be pretty fit to kind of stay up with them. And we, especially on the mountains, you'd start off at the bottom, and you'd find a hare, and she'd go straight to the top. And then they normally do a big circle, and the smart people would stay on the top and just watch them run around. But being young, I tried to keep up with them. But it was fun, and like I say, I learned a lot there, and it was great. We hunted 3 days a week. And we'd start in the afternoon sometime. Early on in the season, when it was warm, we would start early, daybreak, so the scent was better. There was a bit of moisture in the ground, and then we'd move to later on in the afternoon, when it got warmer, so as it was cooling down, the scent was better. So my role there was basically to run the kennel and manage the farm. And we used to have, I was telling some people earlier, what we call a flesh round. We used to feed the hounds fallen stock. So if a landowner or a farmer had a dead cow or a calf or a sheep or anything that was injured, needed to be humanely dispatched, or had died from natural causes, that was my job to go and collect that, and we would skin the animal, butcher it, and then feed it raw to the hounds as a service to the farmer for allowing us to hunt on their land. We would provide that service free of charge, 24/7, 7 days a week. And you got a great rapport with the farmers. You'd have a farmer that had an animal that was hurt or injured, didn't want to, couldn't afford really to have it taken away and the cost, and we could come in and take care of that, and he knew everything was kind of good. So it put in some long hours. Sometimes you'd be hunting, you'd come back in late, and there'd be a message on the machine. I've got a cow that gone down and broken its leg, can you come out? And it'd be late, but it was a service we provided, and it was good. So running the kennel, we basically daily morning I would go in, first let all the hounds out onto one big yard and make sure that everyone was looking good and no injuries, everything was fine, and then we'd take them out on exercise. Some mornings we'd just go down the lane and into a field and just let them hang out and relax, and other times we'd go for a much further walk. And you used to get some real funny looks, and I'm talking 50 dogs and just one guy walking down the road, and your car would come towards you and you'd be like, what is this? And just one command, I could get them over on one side or the other, or behind me, in front of me, wherever. And it's pretty neat if you've never kind of seen it. It's pretty neat to see. Speaking of that, before I keep talking, I've got a few magazines, and I've got a few pictures of the hounds. It gives you a bit of an idea of what we do. Book with any. If you have any questions as we're going along, just let me know and I'll try and answer.
Ashley got you one of your red jackets.
I do.
I was kind of thinking I thought you was going to wear that.
I figured he'd wear it tonight.
Oh, it's pretty warm out there though. So I was with the Beagles for 4 seasons, and then during my last year there was some controversy in England and Wales. There was the Labour Party, the government wanted to bring in a hunting bill to ban hunting with dogs. An all-out ban on chasing wild animals, so foxes, hares, mink, deer. They wanted a total ban, and we fought, and there was organisations, the Countryside Alliance, put thousands into trying to fight them, and the Conservative Party were on the hunting lobby side, but it'd been an ongoing, for last 20 years they'd been fighting back and forth, and finally Tony Blair, the Prime Minister at the time, brought in the Parliament Act, which had only been used in history, I think, twice, and one was during World War I it's mainly for an emergency, for the country's crisis, and he basically brought in the Parliament Act, which overrules all voting. If the government votes no, he can go in and say yes, in which he did bring that in. And in 2005, the Hunting Act was brought in, and hunting with wild animals with dogs was banned. And at the time, the whole hunting community was just devastated. You know, I had grown up my whole life wanting to do what I was doing. I just started my career, and I'm thinking this is great. And then all of a sudden I'm told I can't do that, and I was basically going to be out of a job. We couldn't afford to. There was no reason to keep the hounds. There was no reason to keep a huntsman. Basically, we're going to have to let you go. And by letting me go, I was always provided a house with the job and a vehicle and everything like that comes with it. And that the wages were poor, but you got a house, you got a vehicle, and I was doing something what I loved. So I was faced with a real crisis of what am I going to do? And I talked to my parents, and they knew that I wanted to carry on doing what I loved, and they said, well, why don't you try to go to America, you know, go overseas and do what you do? And I was like, well, I don't know, I'm 21, and I don't know, I don't really want to, I've never been out of the country before, and it's never been in my mind to leave. But I sat down and I thought about it. I thought, well, I'll give it a go. So I applied for a few jobs here in the US, and I applied for a job in Canada. And the job in Canada offered me a position, and that was with the Toronto North York Hounds, just north of Toronto. And it was this time it was going to be foxhound, so I'll be mounted on horses and the traditional red coats, you know, a big kind of nice fancy hunt. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. So I never went out there. I just kind of had a phone interview, and they gave me a date to come. It was April 25th, and I got on a plane with my bags, and I came over and I landed in Toronto. And I remember coming through the doors, through the gates of the terminal there, and kind of looking around and not knowing who it was. I'm thinking, is he going to have a sign there or something? And the guy was there with a pair of camo pants and a pair of welly boots, and I'm like, well, he's about the only one here that looks like he hunts. Everyone else is, I don't know if I want to go talk to them. So he went up and he looked at me and he said, are you Ashley? I said, yeah. I said, are you Mark? And we introduced ourselves, and he says, well, let's go. And we grabbed my bags, and first thing I went to the car and I went to get it in. And he said, are you going to drive? And I said, no. And he says, well, why are you trying to drive? He says, you're getting in the driver's seat. And I said, okay, that's the first. So there was a few changes, a few things that kind of was like, this is totally different. And kept wanting to go on the other side of the road, but thankfully figured that out.
He's a postman.
There we go. See, that's what I need to do, is be a postman. I'd be perfect now. But yeah, so I started my new challenge at this hunt club, and it was great. We had Mark and Emma and his wife, Mark and Emma and their son Glenn, and myself this time as a whipper-in. So my role this time was to help with the horses, to exercise the horses, and help train the hounds. But this time I wasn't actually the top guy. I was working for another guy and assisting him with the hounds, which was great because I learned a lot from him, a lot of new things, and it was really good to kind of, you know, watch someone else and learn from someone else as well. The summers were hot, and I'd never been used to the heat, and that was kind of a challenge. And then come November it got really cold, and then the snow came, and I'd never seen snow before, and it was a shock to wake up one morning and look out and see, you know, 2 feet of snow out on the ground, and yeah, it was just very different. But I enjoyed it, and we hunted coyotes. No coyotes in England or Wales, so I'd never seen coyotes before, and I never hunted them before, so it was kind of new to hunt a different type of game, and it's challenging. But coyotes are a lot stronger than foxes and can run a lot further and faster as well. So the first year I was always left out because, you know, I think we're right here with the hounds, and then next minute they'd be in the next county before I even knew what was going on. So it was challenging, but you know, we got through it, and like I say, it was a lot of fun. So I was there, and then we were at a hound show, and there's lots of hound shows throughout the whole country that basically they judge the hounds on their conformation. So I was at a hound show, and the judge was called Tony Leahy, and he was an Irish guy, and he came up and introduced himself, and we got talking, and he said, I'm looking for a guy to hire. And I was like, okay. And he said, well, if you're interested, you should come down and come and have a look. He said, we're based down in Georgia. Okay, and I thought, well, that sounds pretty good. You know, my original plan was to go to the States, but you know, so we'll give it a go. So I came down on interview, and we went and hunted over at Edison, and great spot. We pulled up there, and we got on some horses, and we went off into the first wood, and I'm just riding along and kind of taking everything all in, and the hounds started to hit a line, and they started speaking, and next minute they all stop, and they're just a tremendous roar. The hounds, they're just all baying and baying, and wow, they've caught something, you know. And he said, and then next minute I hear squeal, squeal, squeal. What is that? What is that? He said, you want to go in there? I'm like, only if you're coming in with me. And, so we get off our horses, and there's this tremendous roar and more squealing going on, and there's hounds coming back this way, and more hounds are running back in. And, wow, what is this? And we get in there, and there's a big boar in there. He's probably about 200 pounds, and he got himself backed in. And we had, you know, 37 hounds around him. We walked in, and we had to shoot that one, and the guy had a big pistol, and we went in and shot it. And I was like, yeah, this looks like fun. I think I can do this. So that was 5 years ago now. I got the job with Tony, and we come down every year to this part of the country. We're based just outside Morgan, and yeah, we run coyotes, grey foxes, bobcats, and hogs, and it's a lot of fun. The hounds are, my job is to train the hounds to hunt, which they do pretty, you know, naturally. They want to hunt, and again train the horses as well. And we have thoroughbred off-the-track horses that are built for speed, because when they get on the coyotes, we need to really kick on and go. So yeah, that's what I do. So I've been here, like I say, 5 years. We come down just before Christmas, and then we leave beginning of May, and we're based up in northwest Illinois for the rest of the year, and we hunt coyotes up there. And there's just coyotes and red foxes there. There's no hogs up there, which farmers are thankful of that. So, but we're very with the hog side of it. We're extremely successful. We normally take anything from 30 to 40 hounds out every time, and they're so well trained that we can lay them on one hog. They'll run it, catch it, we'll see another one, we can get the hounds, move them over, lay them onto that one, run and catch it, and you can basically not wipe out. It's near impossible to wipe them out, but you can clean out a lot of hogs quickly. With us, I mean, it's. I've seen, I've been out with a few guys shooting them, and you see 30 of them out there, and if you're fast, you can get 3 or 4, but with the hounds, it's so successful, and they get the small ones, they get the big, medium ones, and they can get the big ones. We try our best to get as many as we can, because it's.
Yes.
And the coyotes too. The hounds are trained well to hunt the coyotes, and it's interesting for me as a dog guy, watching the hounds hunting the coyote, and then switching over or just having to stop them and put them onto a pig and running a coyote so fast and so far, and then coming back and hunting a pig who's twisting and turning, or a fox who's twisting and turning. I think it does our hounds really a lot of good, being able to be so diverse in what they can do.
Ashley, you, well, 2 things. You mentioned you used the beagles in England. Why didn't you use the foxhounds?
There are foxhounds there. It was.
I mean, you personally, you didn't seem to.
A couple of reasons. One, my grandfather had been a huntsman for 12 years of a pack of beagles, and so I used to go and help him a lot. So I was used to handling beagles and stuff, and I think one reason, I think for sure, I was young. I was 18 years old, and it was not easier, but maybe less of a challenge taking on a smaller beagle club, rather than a bigger foxhound club where I had to look after the horses and a lot more things. And I love beagles. I often talk to people who are big into the foxhounds and say a good pack of beagles or a good beagle can make a foxhound look dumb like that.
What do you use here?
Oh, we use foxhounds here.
You use foxhounds, and why use foxhounds here instead of beagles?
The one main reason, the foxhounds can kind of hunt longer, and they're faster as well.
Okay.
For the hunting the coyotes, we kind of need some speed, and also especially for the hogs, they need to be big, a bigger, stronger hound to kind of handle. Like our hounds, we can take them. The hounds themselves can probably take down a 100-pound boar or pig, and just kill it on their own. Anything over that, they'll stand and bay it up, and the hog will kind of get into a corner somewhere, and then they'll bay it up. And the normal routine, what we do is 2 of us will walk in, and the hounds will, they'll be baying, and I'll walk in with someone with a gun, and I'll say to the guy, "Are you ready?" And he'll get his sights on get a good shot ready, and I'll whistle the hounds back. As soon as they come back behind me, they'll shoot. It's the safest way for us, and that the hound doesn't get hit or accidentally shot. But I've seen it. There's some of the pigs that are super smart, and as soon as those hounds back away, he takes off again. And sometimes it can take 3 or 4 times that they'll bay it up before we can actually get it. But that just intensifies the hounds. It winds, it gets them really pumped up.
So you never let the dogs go in for an attack? Like
They do. And
do you put the armor on them? I'm not sure what it's called.
Right. No, we don't. A lot of guys, they have the catch dogs. They put the Kevlar stuff and stuff like that. We found, it's kind of interesting. Tony's been hunting the hogs down here, I think 15 years now, something like that. And at first he thought more aggression is better, you know, for them to go in and grab. But they're more successful, we found, by being more intense and just aggravate, like baying at the pig rather than actually grabbing it. If it's a big one, if it's small, they'll grab it and it's over. But the big ones, especially this year, they've got really smart at kind of just standing back and just kind of baying at it, you know, and keeping it in one spot. And the pig is concentrating on those hounds, and he doesn't notice the guy coming in. And true. And another point for welfare more is we don't want the hounds getting beat up and hurt. And we've had that where a hound has gone in, a young hound or something has gone in and not realised. And I'm sure a lot of you know them pigs can be mean, and they have them tusk on them, and it's I mean, we've had to stitch up and doctor up a few of our own hounds because of that. So it's more of a team effort, and like I say, they all work off each other. It's a you know, we've got 100 hounds there in kennel at the moment, and basically they're a big family, and they rely off each other and they work off each other, and it's a team, you know, it's a big team that kind of works together. So, you know, if one hound is off into the side here and it hits the line, hits the scent, and it will start what we call speaking, you know, barking, baying, the others will recognize that voice from experience, and hey, he's got the line, and they'll just all run to that one and honor it, and away you go. And it's just something that I guess has built up over the years, that family, you know, relationship amongst that pack. And if you get a bad hound in, like sometimes we don't want to run deer, you know, we don't want any of our hounds to run deer, and we train hard during the summer and during the year to break them off, school them on deer, and if they run a deer, then they get punished for it. And sometimes you'll get a young puppy who's excited and will you know, chase a deer, and the others are like, he's wrong, and they come back to you and they're like, he's wrong, and it's knowing the hounds and spending time with them that you see those things, and it you know, I'm in there all day in the kennel working with them, and I know each hound by its name. You know, there's, like I say, 100 of them. I know them by their name. I know their mother, their father, you know, I know everything about them. Some are noisy, some are naughty, you know, some are quiet. It's, and you pick up the character, and you can tell pretty quick. You can tell by one that's is gonna be a little hard-headed and may run a deer. You know, you can be kind of keeping an eye on that one.
Now, do you ever get rid of them when you suspect that you're going to have a problem?
We'll always give them a chance. We always give them a chance, and like I say, I'm not sure exactly on the numbers, but I think there's 176 clubs throughout the United States. So sometimes a hound that may not work for us will work for another club.
And when you say club, are you talking about hunt club or?
Right, another hunt club.
Not show.
Right, yeah, just a hunt club. And we can, we are governed, I guess, or controlled by the Master of Foxhounds Association.
Oh.
So as an organisation, they've got, you know, their own kind of rules. So like I say, there's 176 clubs in that association, and one of the rules is that we can only transfer hounds between each club, you know, between clubs.
You can't. You mean you can't sell out?
Right. So
really?
Yeah. And so I mean, a lot of people come up. Oh, that one's so cute. How much do you want? They're not for sale. We don't sell any of them. We don't make any money
Well, what
off.
happens when you get overrun with them? You just got your breeding program back, or?
We have a set program where we want to breed so many bitches a year.
Okay.
And there's always clubs that, or other hunts I should say, that always want always looking for hounds.
Okay.
Like last year in particular, we had 5 litters, and from each litter we gave 2 or 3 pups out to other clubs to help them out.
Now you said gave, do you sell them or do you?
No, it's
trade, or-
just a gift. It's just
Oh, okay.
it's just basically a gift to help them out. And like this year, we in particular are low on our pups. We've had two females that didn't catch. So we were expecting those 2 to have two nice litters. Now we're down on our number, so we can go to another hunt and say, hey, remember we gave you that one last year? Can you help us out a little bit? So, and it's great. It's good for the bloodlines to trade off, and we're just talking about now maybe having 3 hounds shipped over from England, and having them put into our breeding policy as an outcross maybe.
Now, do you sterilize your males at all when you get so many of them?
No, we've got 40 males there at the moment, and every single one is intact, and the same with the females as well. So that comes down to my kennel management. We kennel them separately,
Right.
And they all live basically, the bitches on one side, and the dog hounds, the males, on this side, and they hunt together and walk out, exercise together. But whenever a female is having her heat cycle, I separate her, and I'll keep a log of that, so I know 3 weeks she can go back in and hunt again. So there's quite a lot of little things like that just day-to-day managing that you have to kind of do. The hounds, I'll talk a little bit about the hounds. The hounds that we have at the moment, like I say, are English cross